Hello guys, Shubham Kameshwar here, and last time in Unity we learned how to program some basic programming in C Sharp. Today we're going to learn how to add movement to our player over here. Before I get started, I just want to make this a little bit bigger in the x-axis over here. I guess 20 should cut it. No, 15. Yep, I guess 15 is perfect. And now when we run this, because from my last video you know what's happening over here, so I just added a force which makes my cube go forward, but it's just rotating and going crazy. So to smoothen down this cube and make sure that it does not rotate, we can do this thing. So let's go to materials and let's create a new material in which we'll just remove the friction between this player game object and the ground. To do that, go to create physics material, and you can name this whatever you want. I'll name it slippery. Now reduce this to 0 over here, 0, and this to 0. Now add the slippery to the ground, and now when I play this, it's just going smoothly and smoothly. So now let's get to scripting. So let's go to scripts. Let's open up player movement script over here. Opens up our Visual Studio Editor, and here is some of our code. And before I just get started with the coding, I want to introduce this thing called time dot. So what this does is basically takes real time and adds this onto a Unity project. That means now when we run this, like, let me just see this over here. And now you guys can see that this is not moving at all, and this is happening because in a single frame, in a single second, there are many frames. Like, I don't know how many frames exactly, but there are multiple frames in a single second. And now when we equalize this, that means in 100 seconds it'll take some of those frames. So just to fix this error, we just need to like make this value bigger over here. Let's save this, and now when we go back to Unity, yeah, and now this is moving and it won't affect, and like it would be equal everywhere, and we have just added real time. So now let's get to the real movement. And before I get started, I guess I told you guys what variables are in the last video. So to make life just easier, let's make a variable speed public float speed, and let's make it about 12 about 1000 f. Now let's make it a little bit more value, 1500 f. Put this over here, control S. So now instead of 1000 we can use speed over here, speed. And now when we run this, and when we go over here and go to our player, you guys can see that we can also change the speed over here. So now when we run this, I can change my speed middle time. I can make it go faster, I can make it go slower, even slower, even slower, even slower, how much as a one. And now when I stop running this, it automatically reverts back to normal over here. So that's it for variables. Recap. Now let's get to the real part of this, which is using if statements and taking the input from the user and moving this left or right. So now let's just make an if statement over here. If I press input dot get key, and let's make it a, I guess. No, not this one over here. This should be there as it is, and I guess I can just remove this statement and add a new statement. Let me just fix this over here, and now let's just go a little bit down. If and I guess we'll do the first brackets, and over here we can enter let's say rb dot add force of, on the x-axis I guess I want it to be around Let's just add another variable over here, sideways force, public float sideways force. Let's make it about 500 F, and let's go over here again. Let's get the sideways force over here. Let me just fix this. There's an error over here in the spelling. So this much on the X, 0 on the Y, 0 in the Z, and let's multiply this into time dot at a time. Put this over here. Let's go back to Unity, and we can change this over here too. And now, yep, it goes as we want it to go. Let's go back over here and let's just copy this over here. Control C, Control V, and now let's get A over here, and let's just make this negative. Save this and let's go back to Unity. Now you guys can see we have movement. Pretty cool, right? And even though this using if statements to get movement may not be the most efficient, may not be the most efficient thing we can do in Unity. Let me just make this a bit close over here. About, I guess, let me just make this a bit smaller. Yes, I guess this should be perfect. So now if you guys can see the code, just tell in the comment section below. So this is my code over here, and even though using the if statement may not be the most efficient way, I guess this should be perfect for beginners. And that's because while using if statements in update, some things can get missed out, like some frames can be missed out. And even though there won't be much of an error over here, we can't see much of the error over here. It's still when we add many advanced movements such as animating a thing, or let's say you want to like jump or something, then it would really be noticeable and would end up bad. So even though if it's not the most efficient way, we can still use this over here without much of any problems. So this is some basic player movement, sideways and sideways, basically sideways force. And yeah, we are done with the player movement, and I guess I'll catch you guys on the next one. Goodbye.